Let's freaking go. The Chicago Bears have hired another great coach, at least in my opinion. We're going to tell you all about him here on tonight's episode of Bears Now by Chat Sports. But first, if you could support the show, hit that subscribe button. Like this video as well. Whether we're in the studio, whether we're at home, whether it's during the workday, off hours, it doesn't matter. When news drops, we hit you with the video. Easiest way to support us for free is to hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all your love and support. My name is Harrison Graham, host of this channel. Okay, Thomas Brown, who the Bears interviewed for offensive coordinator, did not get OC job, is now the passing game coordinator. I am so fired up about this because when they interviewed him, I was glad they interviewed him, and I'll tell you some of the reasons why as we go along. B, he wasn't my top guy for OC. I wanted someone with more proven play calling experience. But the first thing I said was, I want this guy on this staff. I want the Bears to land this guy. Now, I'm sure he's disappointed that he didn't get an OC job or a head coaching job because he interviewed for both positions with various franchises. But this is huge for the Bears, in my opinion. Thomas Brown is 37 years old. He was voted the NFL's #2 offensive coordinator in a recent survey by the NFLPA. And he reunites with Shane Waldron because they were both on Sean McVay's staff. You want to know what his role on Sean McVay's staff was? I've got his coaching history pulled up here, and we talked about this when we talked about Thomas Brown. He got hired from the University of South Carolina after 2019 in 2020 to be Sean McVay's running backs coach. College running back, brief stint in the NFL as a running back. You think, okay, running backs coach, no big deal. After 1 year as the running backs coach in Los Angeles under Sean McVay, one of the best coaches in the NFL, I might add, McVay believed in him so much that he promoted him to the assistant head coach, which at the time in 2021, he was 34 years old. That is significant to me. That is like, holy shit, leadership skills, right? Like, this guy is someone players believe in. This guy is someone that can connect to players. I am so bullish about this hire. Like, I could not be more excited. I thought maybe he'd be a run game coordinator guy because he's got a running backs background, but I don't even care if I'm being honest. Like, he may have only agreed to come with the pass game coordinator title because maybe he feels that's how he can take the next step in his career to add that to his resume. Hey, give it to him. I'm cool, man. Like, he's going to be able to help the running back room too. Like, he's on the offensive staff. Like, this is sick, man. Like, we'll run through more of his resume as we go along, but if you can't tell based on the excitement in my voice, and look, again, anytime you make these hires, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee if you hire Jim Harbaugh, it's going to work out. But I feel pretty damn good about Thomas Brown as an assistant coach on this offensive staff. Grade the hire here. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm giving this an A. He's on your staff, and you didn't even have to hire him as your OC. This is one of the best non-coordinator hires I bet you'll see in this cycle. It's very, very good. Drop a grade down in the comment section down below. You look at some of his other resume. Now, let's get the out of the way. He was Carolina's OC this year, and the Panthers were obviously a train wreck. But how much of that can actually be placed on Thomas Brown? Couple of things. One, David Tepper is a maniac, their owner. He just is. I mean, he hires Frank Reich, fires him by week 12. By the way, Reich, I don't think, was doing a great job either. He gave up play calling to Thomas Brown. He took it back. Then he got fired. Then Brown's forced back into it. Like, it was just a mess. And it started when the Panthers made that trade with the Bears. They wanted their franchise quarterback, which I get, but they traded their #1 guy, DJ Moore, to get him. So Bryce Young had no chance, which meant the coaching staff didn't have much to work with. The O-line was a mess. The best receiver was slow and past his prime Adam Thielen. Like, I don't think we can look at last year and be like, Thomas Brown can't coach. Like, I just don't. Like, despite, you know how I know that? Because despite this year going poorly in Carolina, he still got a head coaching interview. It was either one or two. I'm pretty sure Tennessee interviewed him, and I think he may have interviewed for Washington as well. I'd have to go double check. He definitely interviewed for multiple OC gigs, the Bears, the Steelers, two to name a few. It maybe New Orleans as well. I'd have to double check that. But this guy is 37. He is well respected. I can't remember the exact quote, but we talked about it on an episode of Bears Now as well, straight from Sean McVay's mouth from a couple years ago when he was on that staff. Basically, he said, as a coach in this league, you've got to have full command of the room. And he said from day one, he had that. Like, you look all of a sudden, and there's a couple of these hires, and I'm like, okay, less experience, but like, if Matt Eberflus can figure things out from the head coaching standpoint, you trust him running the defense. Eric Washington is the DC in title to help the D line and help with the game planning. I like that. Shane Waldron is OC, experience. Sean McVay tree has done well in Seattle. Experience with Thomas Brown, who you now bring over. Like, you've got some guys here, man. Like, I'm a little hesitant on Kerry Joseph. I like some of the stuff I heard from him today at the Senior Bowl. He's a little less experienced, but you know what helps? Getting a guy like Thomas Brown in here. Shane Waldron being the OC. Like, this staff has a chance to be really good. Now, if Matt Eberflus continues to show his clear shortcomings as a head coach, that is a bit problematic, but the staff around him, like, if there was any question if the Bears could attract coaches this cycle because, oh, you got a lame duck head coach potentially, that has not proven to be the case. You got arguably the best OC on the market in Shane Waldron. You got another top OC on the market to not even be your OC in Thomas Brown. You get a very well respected defensive line coach who's been a defensive coordinator before to be your DC in title in Eric Washington. Like, you've brought in some dudes here, man. Like, this is really impressive from Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus to hire these types of coaches, and especially a guy like Thomas Brown. Let me know in the comments which new coach is your favorite hire. I mean, when you factor everything in, I think the Waldron hire is going to be the most impactful. But I think Brown, in terms of like his role on this team and what he's qualified for, like he's probably overqualified for the job you just got him for, right? It's kind of like when Dan Quinn took the Cowboys defensive coordinator job. Like, Dan Quinn's not a superstar head coach, but he's a top 32 head coach, like top 20 probably, top 15. And the Cowboys got him as their defensive coordinator and have kept him for a few years. I think he's lost some of that luster, sure, but like he's somewhat proven as a head coach, right? Like he's qualified to be a head coach. Thomas Brown is qualified to be an OC and some think as a head coach, and you got him to be your pass game coordinator. Like, that's exciting to me. Again, it's no guarantee it's going to work out. I know some people in the comments say, you're overly optimistic. We haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, but we can only react based on what we know. And what we know is the guy is respected as hell by people that are important. Sean McVay. Shane Waldron obviously believes in him a lot. Mike Tomlin interviewed him to be his offensive coordinator. He's interviewed for multiple head coaching jobs. Like, this guy is very well regarded in the NFL. And you add him to your staff, not even to be your play caller. Like, that's exciting. That really, really is exciting. And look, the last, notable spot to fill is running backs coach. Maybe whoever gets that gig gets a run game coordinator title as well. Maybe Chris Morgan, the offensive line coach, gets run game coordinator added to his job, title, whatever the case may be. But man, I'm excited about this, man. I really, really am. I think you guys should be as well. He was out of the 9 OC interview candidates, I had him at 4 or 5. I just wanted a guy. That's the one thing he lacks is experience. Like, he called a few games this year because of the Frank Reich firing and earlier in the season when Reich demoted himself as the play caller. But that's the really one thing lacking. Here's what I like too. Look into the future a little bit. Let's say Shane Waldron. Everybody's worried. Well, even if he's awesome and develops Caleb or Justin, he's going to get a head coaching job in 1 year. Well, a couple things. One, you shouldn't worry about that because if he's getting a head coaching job, that means this offense was good, which it hasn't been. And two, now a guy like Thomas Brown, you could just slide him in, right? Say this team goes 11-6 next year, wins a playoff game. Shane Waldron, becomes the head coach of insert team. Well, Thomas Brown could slide in and be your play caller next year. Another year of gaining that experience, same coaching tree, offense wouldn't have to change much. So there's short term and potentially long term benefits here, which obviously the focus is the here and now, but there's a long term ideal in mind as well, especially if you do draft a rookie quarterback. So I'm excited. I think you guys should be as well. We put out a video a few hours ago. Go check that out. Subscribe on the end screen here. As we sign off here, you'll see two of our most recent videos. Go click those. But I would encourage you to watch that. And we will be back tomorrow with more Chicago Bears content. Thomas Brown, we're excited to have you. I'm excited at least. I hope you guys are as well. Hit that subscribe button, like the show. You can find me on socials at HGramNFL, Instagram, and Twitter. Appreciate all the love and support. See you next time. Bear down.